There's a lovely hymn, and I just want to read you. The title of it is, "How Does the Creature Say Thanks?" And it just seemed to be a nice way to start this conversation we have each Sunday because of our animal blessing yesterday and all we've been celebrating with the St. Francis theme last week in this. How does the creature say thanks? God of the sparrow, God of the whale, God of the swirling stars, how does the creature say awe? How does the creature say praise? God of the rainbow, God of the cross, God of the empty grave, how does the creature say grace? How does the creature say thanks? When I look at today's reading, and we talk about it as being made whole, I think it's about gratitude. I think we can ask to be healed, but there's something different about being made whole. There were 10 men with leprosy who came toward Jesus. Notice this translation does not say, as so many of our other translations in the past had, there were 10 lepers. No one is named here by a condition. 10 men with leprosy. 10 persons with an illness so contagious and so feared that it rendered them separate from the rest of the community. It rendered them outcasts from their own families. And so here they are, this group of 10. And they run into Jesus on his way to Jerusalem as he's crossing the border between Samaria and Galilee. Here's our God-man who's always on some border somewhere. He never seems to really be in one place where people can snag him and grab them and keep him for themselves. He's always going out to these border places where we run into all kinds of people. There is a group of 10 men with leprosy traveling together who from a distance see this Rabbi Jesus. And they call out to him. I'm not sure what that call was.
Called out to her.
But think about it. One of them was a Samaritan. And we know from past readings we've done from Luke that Samaritans were despised people because some of them had at one time oppressed some of the Jews. And so there's this entire national hatred thing going for everybody who's identified as a Samaritan. But think about it. What the heck was this Samaritan doing traveling with these 9 Jewish guys? What was he doing with them if he was so hated? And yet he travels with them. And so I kept pondering that this week in the very few minutes that were left to me. And I kept thinking, how can this be? How can this be? And I finally this morning, I finally just kind of said, you know, when we're all suffering from the same malady, from the same dis-ease, and others are diseased with us, maybe that's what brings us together. And all the other stuff falls away. And we travel as a group in safety and for safety because others might single us out and do us harm. And so they travel together. And somehow they decide they're going to shout out to this man Jesus. Now, that would probably kind of be an interesting conversation, you know? Like, here are these 10 guys, and they're trying to decide, are we going to talk to this guy, or are we going to talk to this guy? What are we going to say to him? Who's going to be the speaker? You know, I want to speak. No, I want to speak. No, I want to say this. No, I want to say something else. But somebody shouts out. We don't know any of the conversation. Jesus, Rabbi, have pity on us. Have pity on us. Have compassion for us. Be the one who understands our suffering and help us take it away. That's the man they shout out to. Jesus looks at them, and he doesn't touch them as he does in other healing stories. He looks at them and says, go show yourselves to the priests. Why do they need to go show themselves to the priests? Because they were unclean. Because they were not allowed to be part of the community. And they had to go get a certificate of I can belong again or something. But they had to go be approved by the priests in the temple to be able to come back in to this society, this community, and even to their own families. But the Samaritan doesn't go with them. On their way, they are healed. When one of them discovered he was healed, he came back shouting praises to God. Now, we can be cynical about this and say, well, of course he didn't go to the temple with all those Jewish guys. What was he going to do there? He didn't know the priests, and they weren't going to invite him back to the community anyway. We could be cynical. Or we could get why Jesus tells this story. When we are healed, there is blessing. When we know it, there is blessing. But when we can give thanks for it, give thanks to the one who is always there for us, there is amazing blessing. And so those who are into, I'm going to go do the right thing by my church, I'm going to live by all those rules. I used to belong to a church like that. A long time ago. They asked me to leave.
We went with you.
I'm talking about a long time ago. Long time ago when I was in the church of my family's, that my family raised me in. And there were all these rules. And I remember being a little kid of like 6 and 7 and 8 thinking, now if I just follow this rule, I won't die and go to hell. Can you imagine being 6 or 7 or 8 worried about going to hell? But oh my goodness, I was worried about that. And I just thought, if I follow all the rules, well, one of the rules was you had to go to confession. Well, I didn't do that. Okay, we used to do that every week. Not often enough, but every week. And then if you had communion, then you were in a state of grace. So if you died having just taken communion, you were in a state of grace, and you wouldn't die and go to hell, right? I'm 7 years old and I'm praying, please kill me after I receive communion today. 7 years old. I mean, that's the kind of the rule-following kind of thing that so many of us have had in our past, and you're laughing at it today, but I'm going to tell you, you weren't laughing at it all that long ago. You were following those rules you're laughing at. You're laughing at mine, but you know what? Yours weren't so darn funny, were they? Yours were check 1, check 2, check 3, right? That's what we did. But that's not what Jesus wants us to get. Jesus wants us to know that when we get, that we are healed out of our brokenness, whatever that is for us, when we're taken out of that status of being the outcast from family and tribe and community, our response, if it's gratitude, is amazing blessing. Now, this guy didn't need to come back and tell Jesus. Jesus knew it was amazing blessing. Jesus is the one who blessed him again. Your faith has made you well. Get up and go. That's another blessing. And that part about the others, I don't think we're supposed to read that with judgment or derision or sarcasm. I think Jesus probably said it with sadness. Where are the others? Where are my other kids? Where are my other friends? Where's the rest of my family? I'm sad they're not here, because I want them here with me. I want them to get who I am. I want all of us to get who we are. That we are made whole when we get it and give thanks for whatever it is we've been given. So many gifts, so many opportunities, and all we have to do is go back and say thanks. And the blessing goes on and on and on and on, rippling through the universe. Why? Because there were other folks hanging out with Jesus that day. And they got this blessing too. Because the person who was healed and made whole shared it with them. We are all called to wholeness in God. We are all called to be healed of all that stuff that we carry around with us. Because somebody said to us, here, this is your crap to carry. And we accepted it because it was a rule. But here, the rules fall away. And all we need to get. Thank you for letting me realize that in my healing, I am whole. Thank you for letting me get that I am beautiful, that I am lovely, that I am all I need to be in life because you created me in your image and you welcomed me home into wholeness all the time. We were at an event this week at USF, and it was an event where a speaker was invited on campus by a group who thought the message should be to people that if you're Christian, you can't be gay, and if you're gay, you can't be Christian. And that was the message. And at one point, one of the people in the audience got up to ask a question. And it was asked and answered in a way that said to me exactly that. And the question was, how can we as Christians learn to love gay people? Well, wow. My little mind couldn't wrap itself around that, and my pastor's heart couldn't wrap itself around that. So I got up to speak, and I had not intended to. And I invited the speaker, when it was my turn to ask just one question, if she would join me in welcoming every person in the auditorium. Not just the people that believed as I believed, and not just the people that believed as she believed, but could we together join voices and hearts and welcome everyone into this embrace of God's all-encompassing love that God offers everyone? And her answer was, it would not be a kindness to do that. I was sad that I was cut off and couldn't, most people were not. They were given a chance to thank her at the end of their question and her answer. And I was sad that I was cut off because I wanted to say, having said earlier that I had, gave her my credentials and stuff and whatever. And I wanted to say, well, my wife and I will continue to pray for you. And we will. And we will. Because those are the people that need to get it. And then we went downstairs and there was a rally, and we, Faith Family was part of the groups that were there tabling, letting people know that we're here. But I went over to see some of the other tables, and at one of them, I picked this up, and I want to put it up on my side of the bedroom. It says, "There is nothing wrong with you. Because I think this is a message that Mary needs to see every morning. This is a message that each of us needs to see every morning. Every morning we need to see it not only for the person or persons we love in our lives, but for ourselves. Because we are made whole. And in the wholeness of God's love, there is nothing wrong with us.
Amen.